Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What's Your Mess? Mental, emotional, and social status of life. And again, we have another special guest. And today, instead of just one special guest, we have two. We have the couple, we have the Harrises, Mr. Albert and Sierra Harris. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys.
I am Sierra. This is Albert.
I introduce my own self. This is Albert. I go by Albert Harris. And this is my wife, beautiful wife, been married to for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 more even going.
Wow, y'all have been married 10 years?
Yeah. June 1st.
I did not know that. Congratulations. That is amazing.
Thank you.
10 years. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I was thinking 7, 8, but that is great. So I know that it has not always been a wonderful, amazing 10 years. So can you tell the audience a little bit about one or some of the messes that you have gone throughout those 10 years of marriage?
Let's see. Yeah, first.
Go ahead.
We met at school. I was going to school for a medical assistant. He was doing massage therapy. And
Yeah, she was harassing me.
so we met. We was kind of just talking and like I'll speak or whatever, but nothing major. And one day I was going home.
I stopped on the freeway.
He flagged me down on the freeway to get my phone number. And we kind of exchanged phone numbers on the freeway and been talking ever since. And so, what?
I-10 and Beltway 8, right on the ramp.
So, yeah. So, I had kind of just got out of, not just got out of, because I was had just had a child. I was no longer with her dad, and I was just not interested in, being with somebody. And then, so when I did get with him, I was just like, oh, new to the dating game, but didn't think nothing of it. Even when we was dating for a while, still didn't think nothing of it. It was just like, okay, it's working, but yeah. And so, yeah, how do you feel about being with asking a girl with a child, being with a child?
This is not my first time with somebody with a child, but being honest, like I knew I was gonna be with Sierra like way beforehand.
Yeah, he always say, and God told him.
Yes, because like let me tell you, I was in my apartment, bored, alone, tired of playing around, playing kid games. And I told God to send me somebody. And it's crazy because the school that we met popped up on the screen. And I was like, I always wanted to do massage therapy. So let me see what they're talking about. I went, I seen her, she never seen me. And it was like, honestly to God, like I keep telling her, she don't believe. I seen like a glow just shine up her. I'm like, okay, that's who you sent for me? And like I say, me and her started talking. People in her class was telling her to conversate with me because she wouldn't give me the light of day. But I like a challenge, so I kept on and kept on. I didn't want to get embarrassed on her shutting me down on the phone number. So yeah, I did flag her down on the freeway. And it wasn't a big issue with her having a child to me. So I mean, the mess we had, just getting her used to being with somebody besides who she was with previously, because she wasn't really trying to be with nobody.
And just overcoming different things, you go through situations in the past and just letting your guard down and moving forward. Then when I was ready to commit, I was like, okay. So we finally got engaged, got married within 7 months, because we got engaged on Christmas.
Yeah.
Was married June 1st. And so young, not necessarily young, but young, still developing and building ourselves. And so just overcoming challenges of being stable, buying our first home, having more kids, um, him doing different job transitions, overcoming financial challenges, and being able to stick with it. Because let me tell you, it's not easy. And I look at my parents. My parents been married 33 years. I could, let me honestly say, my relationship is not like their relationship. I try, but it's different. Um, I strive to be that way, but
We not them.
we not them. So we have overcome.
So
You
let
know,
me ask you a question right there, really quickly. You said that y'all were young, but not really young. How old were you? How old were y'all when y'all got married?
No, I was 28.
yeah, and I was 25.
Okay, so y'all were in your 20s, but okay, like you're saying, you're still young, you're still developing, you're still growing. So I heard him say that one of the messages was that you getting used to being with someone again. And then you said it was a challenge to overcome letting your guard down. Like, how did that affect the relationship and the marriage, especially the marriage at the beginning?
It was challenging because when she have her guard up, she have her guard up. But
Yeah. And it wasn't even nothing that he did wrong. He wasn't a bad person. It was just like, and I don't want this to come out wrong. When you were in a relationship and you fight so hard to be with somebody and you feel like you invested time and you was really into somebody, and then you end up pregnant, but then after you find out you're pregnant, y'all go y'all separate ways, and just the hardship of that, of somebody you felt like would have been it, but you knew from before you even was pregnant that that wasn't it, but trying to make it work. And then going through a period of finding yourself, and then somebody comes in your life in the middle of you finding yourself, and he doing all the right things. And by the time we officially started talking, Chubb was 8 months going on 9 months. And so he's been there since the very beginning, but just adapting to something I wasn't used to, but still trying to figure myself out, like a restart. That was challenging, even though he didn't never do nothing to me, harmful, but just continuing to learn new things about myself, and to every time you get in an argument or have a disagreement or may not see eye to eye, just learning how to react different, think different, and all of that. Because even to this day, like, you have triggers where it could not even have nothing to do with a person, and communication.
And a lot of things which is challenging was, I'm not even gonna lie, I might have had about 3 or 4 different jobs. It's like different, the financial statement.
Once we got married,
it was good, and then we went bad again, but we always overcome. Every year it has been
better and
better since we've been married.
Yeah. And that was hard.
Go ahead.
Coming from, and he say spoiled, but we was not spoiled, but we grew up good, so not spoiled. And like, just when we talk about our childhoods are like totally different. And
exactly,
we grew up different. And even after having a child and just having my parents support and having help, and even once it was just different. And so when we got married, everything was good. And then, like you said, over the 10 years of us being married, he done switched. He stayed in the chemical plant field, but he done switched different jobs. And so, you have to start bottom pay changes. And, once you feel like you somewhere, then you be done brought a car, or we have brought a house, certain stuff change. And then life happens, and then you're overcoming and still
Yeah, we
being good to each other during the hard times.
because we recently took
A hit,
we took a hit. Last year we took a hit.
but
But I mean, it worked itself out because it got me somewhere better. Because now I am an operator at a plant.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
yeah,
in a good spot.
yeah.
So let's go
But
back because y'all just unpacked a lot right there. So I'm gonna go back because I want to dig a little deeper. I want
Hey,
to dig a little deeper into the mental state, and how did being married. There's two things that I really want to talk about because y'all just mentioned it. I want to talk about the financial because you said that there was multiple transitions of employment. I love how you said that. And there was also mentally let you having to let your guard down and actually being with someone. And then you also said how you say you felt like y'all were raised differently. Y'all had a different upbringings. So how did that affect y'all mentally when y'all did get together and over these 10 years?
oh, it still affects us.
it affects us when we had different outlooks on things.
Because he feel like, I mean, which is true, and I want to encourage people, when you're going through things, like keep it in house, but you don't have to struggle by yourself if you don't have to struggle by yourself. And so he's the one we could, of course, everybody pray about it, believe it's going to happen. But I have, or we have now, like a support system. And sometimes, though he's used to it and know my parents, sometimes I have to watch.
I don't. Sometimes I rather
So I don't want
not run to them
to overstep.
and let us figure it out.
Yeah, because if we get through a situation, and especially having kids, like I know my mom and dad will be there and help, whether it be with a vehicle or like stuff that's been came up, and instead of trying to stick it out or letting him handle it, sometimes I didn't just ran to my dad and he'd be like, well, you didn't even give me the chance. And so, we had to work through that, or something that happened to me before I call him, I'll call my dad. And I'm just like, that's just habit, not to take away from you. It's just habit. And so we had another thing, we just had to work on it. I try not to make him, then you have to come back and I let him know, it's never intentional. I don't want you to feel no type of way. So another form of communication. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And with that, let me ask you, Al, how did that affect you emotionally? Like that particular type of situation where she would go to her dad before coming to you.
A lot because like I tell her like we married. I understand it's your dad and whatever, but you married me. So like I feel like you should come to me first as your husband. And then if me and you come to agreement, yeah, we need your dad help, then that's what we do. But if we can't figure it, we should try to figure it out ourselves before, you know what I'm saying, we go run into daddy, like I call it.
But that's
Uh,
like you said, she's used to you're
yeah.
used to doing that, and he's like, hey, wait a minute, I'm your husband.
Yeah, she used to that, and see, I was brought up. I got figured out on my own. When I became grown and moved out the house, it's like don't run. I don't run straight to my parents for anything. I'll figure it out, or I struggle by myself if that's gonna do it. I'm not gonna ask them for nothing unless I really need it. Now, her on the other hand,
And then,
it's a snap, and she there.
and I tell him, it's not even always me asking. Like sometimes, how you could be going through something and somebody that knows you'll be like, hey, see, or Tracy, what's going on? And like, I have a habit of when we going through something, I overthink it. I be trying to plan out our next step and how we're going to maneuver, that it just really kind of consumes my mind. And so my mom or my dad, they'll see me and they'll be like, whoa, what's going on or whatever. Or they'll be like, what is it that we need to do without, me even necessarily asking. And so, yeah.
Okay. So that actually leads into the next question, because how did the marriage affect you all socially? Now, socially could be like y'all was talking about family, it could also be with friends. So how did you two coming together over these 10 years? How has your social status changed?
Socially, but once my parents got used to them, that was good because it was somebody that they like. So that was good. But as far as I don't have too many friends, but my close circle, it was different for them because what I was used to talking to, he's not, he wasn't that. So everybody was just like, is this it? So that was,
Because I was
he
chocolate.
he was the talk of conversation for a minute, but it didn't really affect. They were just like, "Are you sure?" But that took some getting used to. But other than that, it was fine.
How is it now?
No, it's good. Everybody loves you.
No, how is your social life? Like that's what she asked me.
Oh, it's good.
She don't have a social life. I try.
My little social life I have is good.
I try when she get invited to event, she'll quick to find a reason to say no, or she got something to do. If I can watch the kids or somebody watch the kids, I try to tell her to go. Now with my social life,
Yeah, what social life you have?
the social life I did have, that has been, I've been trying to gain every year, but it's still not the same. I'm the outgoing, like to go out when people have events. The other side of the family, I'm not as close as I was with them. I'm working
So is
on
that
it.
because of me?
It's not because of you. It's because how you feel when you're around them. You don't even.
Because he used to go out all the time.
You don't feel comfortable.
And so now he don't hardly go out at all. And so I tell him all the time, like, when your family do stuff, go. Because really, since we done been together now, it's like he done did a 360. He don't go out. He don't do stuff. And I'm like, don't have people thinking that's because of me.
But see, it's only because every time I go to family events, they ask, where you at? Where my kids at? And even if I bring one or two, where the rest of them? They want to see it all. And you don't want to come because you be feeling some type of way.
I just like being at home.
You like being at home, but I'm always with your family. Well, your family's comfortable with me.
And I tell him all the time, just because I'm a family-oriented person,
well,
you don't have to go.
Come around mine.
And so,
and be the same as you, same as I be with yours.
Okay. Well, that's what we'll work on the next 10 years.
Socially, it sounds like from before you got married, you had a different type of social life. And you sound like you're more, Sierra, you sound like you're more of a, hey, I'm good. I don't have to go anywhere. And you're like, hey, let's go. And so as you all mesh that together, how does that affect y'all's status of living? Because I'm gonna take that and flow right into the next thing, because your status of living, that can be different things. That could be how you all operate and interact with family. Your status of living could be how you say y'all had some setbacks. How has marriage and some of the setbacks affected your status of life in the past? Not where you are now, in the past.
Yes.
Okay, so as far as your status of life, how did being married and over these 10 years, what are some of the situations that have affected your status of life?
Corona.
Okay, let's talk about it.
No, but I and just like him, the job changes. But I don't even want to put Corona out there because thank God though he switched jobs and we had to get back afloat, we never lost income. You know, so many people lost income. We just had to get back to what we was accustomed to. And that's what I say. So I can't blame it on Corona because you know, we were still working. You just switched jobs in the middle of Corona. So yeah. So, but right now, what? How did you think it affected you? Did it affect us?
What?
And let me say this, and I'm not talking about where y'all are right now, because I know where you are right now. You about to tell some people out here in the audience listening how to get to where you all are right now. But over these past 10 years, your status of living has changed a couple of times. You said that y'all had some setbacks, y'all had to come back, you had to bounce back. So how did marriage affect your status of life? Because y'all were single. Did it affect how you lived, how you moved, what you did?
Well,
how you moved.
How we moved, and then we started having more children. So, you know, yeah, that different play into it. It was more than just one child, but you know, just every year, though it be challenges within the year, we was always able to come back on top. And every year we look back, we've always done better than before. And so, though you might go, and I want to tell people, you know, though a month or two within a year, maybe even 3 months might be bad, might look real rough, you can make it through the other 9. And so, yeah, just keep going.
Wait a minute, he got this look. What you want to say? He got this look like, let me get the microphone.
Basically, yeah, it got hard. I honestly, throughout the jobs I didn't had in the different scenarios, we have got better. We even had a point we had to go somewhere we didn't never seen us going.
Oh, was we married when we moved back in with my mom?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had to move back in with my mom.
You was with Kobe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a challenge because you know I never thought when I got married that I would have had to move back in with my mom and them for a period, but it worked out and we overcame that because some people don't. And so, and yeah, they helped us through it, and we stayed there almost a year. A year.
About a year because we moved in out of there.
I forgot all about that.
Because when Kobe turned 1, when we moved out.
Okay, so yeah, we had to move back in.
So your status of life has changed multiple times throughout the 10 years of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And what you were getting ready to say, because you were saying how y'all overcame and y'all worked through it. So tell everybody, how did you all clean up all those messes and come out of the messes that you went through?
Communication, prayer. Let me tell you.
A lot of praying.
Let me tell you, and like even to this day, we still working through it. And like some days he'll say, "Babe, let's do counseling." You just have to know what works for you. Counseling ain't gonna work for me because if I go talk to somebody, I'm gonna just talk. I might not listen. I just have to, figure it out myself, and I acknowledge when I'm wrong. I play a situation back, and then I always tell him, just give me time. Even when we have disagreements, he don't like my silence, but I'm just like, give me time. You just let me think. Let me come replay it, think about it, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
And see, my thing is with a counselor, I always say, sometimes we need counseling on certain situations, is because I needed somebody else jump in besides her beat me up on the conversation or not saying anything, so she can hear somebody other perspective about it than just mine. Because if it's just me saying something, oh, it ain't gonna be great.
And then another thing, which brings me back to my mom, like, I don't know. I feel like she really just know me because, I could just be over there picking up my kids or something and she'll just say something or, just be randomly talking and it'd be like, was you listening to in the conversation that I had at my house a day or two ago? And, she'll just, and so that'll be my sign for me to, and sometimes he don't like that. It might take a day or two for us to come back to readdress the situation.
But it's another person saying something to her. It's the same thing as going through with a counselor, somebody talking to you. Except we both sitting down talking to the same person.
And so
and telling her business.
I know it works for me. It's been worked this far.
That's what I was about to ask, because you said communication is key. I can tell the kids trying to get on camera. It's all good. Tell them go and get their wave in. Get they.
So,
but okay. So you're saying communication and knowing your communication style. And he's saying counseling works for some people. So he's saying you said counseling works for some people, but you might not listen.
Yeah.
But as far as cleaning it up, you all were able to work through things because you all communicated. Eventually.
Yeah. But like whether, I always pray about a situation and he meditate, pray on it. It just takes me time to come back and address it because I always say he hates that, like, if we disagree, I shut down. But I tell him, I prefer to shut down and let me process it before, then that's when people don't just shut down. Then that's when you start saying stuff you can't take back. And so, that's just
a good point.
Dealing with it instead of going all the way to 100, like, which I can, like, just let me be quiet and just leave me alone. Let me, think about it and figure it out and we'll come back to it.
Silence not my thing.
And that's not his thing. And he say, "But we ain't gonna go to sleep mad." And so I tell him, okay, I'm not mad, but we will readdress it. And so that's what over the years, that's what we have learned to come to, because we did agree that we won't go to sleep mad at each other. And so if though we hadn't talked it all the way through, I'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna go to sleep mad, but just know that we will readdress this situation.
And I'm like, just talk it over, get it over with, burn it out the way right now, so we ain't gotta worry about it tomorrow. Tomorrow, a new day.
So yeah.
Okay. And so with that, y'all have learned to work through it. Now, the question is for the audience, what advice would you give any listeners who are married, going through tough situations? You all said y'all had so much in this episode. Let's say and someone's in the audience and they're marrying someone who has a child. What would your advice be to them, Mr. Harris?
I go first. My advice. I got 4 kids.
No, but marrying me with a child. But okay, let me intervene because I'm gonna let you talk. But I'm gonna let you talk. What?
So for you.
Well, for us, I would say set boundaries, but it wasn't as hard because my child's father was not as present. You have some people who parents are more present than others. So I would say boundaries have to be set. Because when he was coming in and out of her life, we had to set boundaries. That was a whole nother issue. But set boundaries and, so y'all will know how you will move forward through situations, establish that. But because he had been in her life since a baby, like his position was already solidified and that wasn't nothing major that he had to deal with.
Okay, as far as the other parent in the picture. However, as a man marrying a woman that already has a child, how would you advise someone who may be listening to this as a man?
Like she said, piggyback on what she said, he wasn't around, so it wasn't no big jump to me. I knew I have to accept that child because that's a part of her. And I love kids. I love them too much. I got too many of them. But what would stick to a plan? Stick to it, pray on it. Yep, y'all gonna have y'all ups and downs. You're gonna have a lot of ups and downs. You're gonna have a lot of bumping heads. Just don't give up on it. If that's who you love, that's who you wanted to marry, that's who you said I do to, you think that's your best friend, you're gonna ride or die, you're gonna stick it out. Don't go to bed with the silence. I know she said that's calms her. You ain't necessarily gotta go to a counselor. Just sit down, go sit in the car outside in the parking lot. Or sit in the driveway. Just don't bring it around your kids. Don't let your kids see you. Cause that's a big thing. Cause they see that, they ask questions, they start crying. You don't want that. You want your home to stay happy and humble. So my thing to the men would be like, stick with her. Ride it out. Don't give up on your blessing. Because Sierra was my blessing. And she's been my wife for 10 years now, and we got many more to go.
Question. So you say, God, I was the one. How did you feel when you found out I had a child? Did that change your mind?
No.
Well, I know it didn't change your
No,
mind, but
it
did you
didn't.
feel some type of way?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Only thing was challenging was trying to knock her little wall down that she had against, not really want to be in with nobody. That was my only challenge with Sierra.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of fighting it and knocking it down to her because she tough. She might be a dad, but she tough.
And then I'm going to ask y'all one last question, and it's about how could you help the audience? You mentioned, I know a lot of times in marriages, one of the things that a lot of marriages fall apart because of financial situations.
Mhm.
What is your advice and suggestions? Because you all said you had some job transitions, you had some times where you had to move back to the house, you had times where you said the house and the cars, and but what would you suggest to listeners who are married and they're going through those types of messes where finances are tearing their marriage apart? That's a tough question, my bad. I just threw that one at them, y'all.
It is. Because let me tell you, when you stressed about money, that's a different type of stress. And you trying to figure it out. Kids used to certain things. Right?
Wife wanting certain things.
It's a conversation where you have to reassess some things, even let them know, hey, for the next, even when we was getting a house and when the jobs changed, I always let them know, hey, whether it be for the next month or whether it's for the next 2-3 months or however I felt was necessary, we're not gonna be doing XYZ. So don't be expecting this, or with the shoes or going out to eat or whatever, the situation was. I let them know, hey, like right now, this is what's not about to happen. And though it was hard for me, bills come in and making sure, you moving something from this account to this account and be like, when your next payday? And so, that was when I would get stressed out and try not to, just be mad. But, just know that tomorrow's a new day. Yes, we're gonna eat. That tomorrow's a new day. And as long as I seen him trying, and I knew what our vision was, we sat and wrote a vision. I seen him write his vision, and he constantly told me his plan. And me being able to believe in his plan and to see him steady trying to put forth that effort and to continue to make sure we was good, even though our current situation might not have said that we was good, but for him to steady try to be providing. And just you even went and got a part-time job, you know.
Yeah, I even started doing DoorDash
It was
to try to get
it was
something
so
to help.
that seeing him try to make sure that we provided that income stayed above a certain amount, you know, I couldn't complain. All I could do was just, be thankful. So yeah.
Okay, you want to add to that, Al? I know the kids are hungry.
She pretty much hit it on, said exactly what probably I would say.
But as a man, because that was a wonderful answer though, for real. Especially you said when he's putting in the effort and you see he had a vision and you saw him working towards it, you stuck with him. Now, as a man, if there's a man in this audience that's listening, what advice would you give them if they're going through this type of situation from a male point of view?
From a male point of view, there's many jobs out there that you can do. I know it always be the one you want that think can take care of your household, but you can take a little job right now. There's plenty of money out here to be made. I mean, like I said, you have to show your significant other that you're not just gonna keep staying with that one that's not doing nothing for you. You're gonna keep trying. You gotta show her that you got show your effort. Like my wife said, she seen me trying, do different stuff that I wouldn't normally do. I even thought about delivering pizza for Pizza Hut. I was trying to bring something extra, just to help. But it wasn't what I wanted to do, but it's something that I had to do for my family.
And let me tell you this. Always, can you hear me? Always be able to adapt, because that was another thing we had to get used to. Just because at one point that you making XYZ, be able to adapt. And like he say, when he did DoorDash, he's always been at a plant, and DoorDash and a plant is two totally different levels. So, that in itself was, I seen him doing a sacrifice for us, and putting in what he needed to do to make it work and make us feel secure and have what we needed, So never be too ashamed or too into your current position or your current status to have to accept something different.
Don't let your pride.
Yeah, prideful. Never be too prideful, because we've learned that too.
And you know what, guys? I think that right there, I was about to ask, what last words would you all leave the audience? That right there, don't be too prideful, especially when it comes to those types of situations in your relationship and in your marriage. Are there any last words besides that? Because that was good. That was a good nugget right there. That you'd like to leave the audience with?
Just continue. Yeah, be positive. I've learned that. Be positive, especially if it's something you want. I mean, you committed to a marriage, and don't speak negative on it, especially if you really want it to work.
Don't speak negative on each other.
And just continue to put in the work and pray. Continue to pray. Like I could tell you, raised up in church all my life, being on my own is the strongest my prayer life has ever been.
Well,
She
So,
was brought up on it, but
and
I
so
didn't.
I'm just right, but I'm just saying, like, even though I was brought in church up all my life, once I became, especially a mother, like I could really see prayer in my life change, and so pray about it. And sometimes I tell my mom, I don't know if God hears me, but she was like, "Oh, he do." And so I might not always hear him, but then I see stuff working. So I was like, "Oh yeah, he hear me." So just continue to look forward for tomorrow. Tomorrow is always a new day, a fresh start.
Exactly.
Well, again, I thank you. I thank you both for your time. I thank you for joining us on What's Your Mess, because hopefully someone out there listening or watching this episode, hopefully it'll help their marriage and it'll help them overcome whatever messes and situations that they're going through. And as we wrap up, I'd like to end with a quote that I like to leave with every episode. If you want to be sad, keep thinking about the past. If you want to be anxious and worried, keep thinking about the future. But if you want to be happy, think about the present and be grateful for the things that you have. This is Tracy D. Armstrong with What's Your Mess? Have a good one, everyone.